Hey, how
Hey,
are
how are
you
you doing?
guys?
I'm good, Sherry.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to give folks a few seconds to get in here, and then I'll give you a proper introduction. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Let me get my other co-host up here, and we can get started. Asimov, come on and be a speaker, dude. If you got the time. Excuse me. First, welcome to my space. I'm Sherry Pluskota. I'll be the host this evening. I'm happy you're joining us live or listening at a future time. I thank you for both. Please welcome my co-host of this space. Very happy that Brad Nesser was able to join me as a co-host today. He is a favorite space cadet and has been with me in spaces since way back when. Brad is a club WPT streamer and a great ambassador in the world of poker. So welcome, Brad. I'm glad you can help me.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Sherry. I really, really appreciate your kind words. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really excited. Ooh, Matt Savage down there. Thank you, Matt, for coming on in. Super excited to be here. Love Josh. Got a lot of love and respect for him, and he deserves this spotlight. So I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you,
Well,
Sherry. Love you.
thank you. And I love you too. And thank you for those kind words. And I also need to welcome the Thelma to my Louise, or is it my Louise to my Thelma? Either way, Dark Angel is joining me tonight as a co host. And thank you for joining me, Donna.
Hi, everybody. I'm still awake.
She's still awake. She's battling jet lag, but hopefully she'll make it through the whole show. But we may catch her snoozing and snoring on air, and it's okay. She deserves every last snore. I want to give my thanks to my sponsor, Elevator Results. If you need a tailor-made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter or check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. Also, a reminder you can find the recordings of my past spaces, including our daily WSOP coverage, as well as my Brad Nesser interview on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. Please subscribe when you head over there. Now, without further ado, my guest is an ER doctor in Boston. From what I've been told, he has a brilliant mind. Josh is a club PT streamer. I met Josh for the first time when he attended my first official Spaces meetup game at the Aria in December of 2023 and was happy to have him. Josh has a Hendon mob of over 106,000 in live total earnings, with his best live cash being his most recent cash of 30,000 at the WPT free roll just a week ago. My guest's first Hendon Mob entry was for his 48th place finish at the Venetian Deep Stack 5K buy-in back in July of 2022, where he cashed for over $19,000. Josh has had a great year on the felt this year, and the bulk of his Hendon Mob um, total happened this year, cashing 6 tournaments for around $81,000. A great year indeed, Josh. Uh, Welcome to my space, and we are glad you're with us tonight.
Sherry, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's incredible. Thanks for having me here. I knew when I met you last year at the Spaces meetup game at the Aria, I knew you're good people, and so I'm so fortunate and happy to interact with you again.
Well, thank you for those kind words. And I'm so happy Brad's here, Matt's here, because I know that you're really good friends with Matt. So I think he can give us a different perspective than maybe just a cold interview. So I'm
Mhm.
really happy we could put our heads together. So tell me, how did you and Brad meet? Let's start there.
Brad and I met as part of the Stream Team family. With playing with Club WPT. I saw him crushing. I mean, I don't know if everyone fully appreciates what Brad has done this year. I mean, everyone is playing a lot of free rolls, including WPT champion Dan Sepiel, who got his start in free rolls. Little known fact, but I would argue that this year that Brad Nesser, Braulio 84, has had is probably the number one year of any free roll player ever. 7 packages just in this one year, including WPT or WSOP main event, several WPT packages. So yeah, that's how we got interacted and got to know each other. And Brad's just an incredible guy, upstanding guy. He's one of the main streamers over there at Club WPT and Stream Team family. Just an upstanding guy, crusher online. Just an incredible guy. We've had a lot of fun late nights together. So we a lot of experiences.
Well, and I could not agree with you more. The very few times I've been in Brad's stream, I've enjoyed every minute of it, and he does a great job. I love the fact that he, brought in some DJs this year and did some co-op, and it was awesome. So tell us how you got started in poker, Josh, please.
Yeah, I've been playing poker for about 20 years. I really, starting back, I started playing cards with my dad. He just, we're playing 5-card draw and this sort of thing. And so that started out when I was really young. The first time I ever played poker, I was 17 years old, and I was a senior in high school. I went up to my sister's college. We played 10 people, mainly college guys, $10 buy-in, first place, winner take all. I didn't know what I was doing hardly. I got lucky. It's been the story of my life. I got lucky. I got first that very first tournament. Took home the $100, which was a lot for me back then.
Of course.
The very first tournament that I really ever played, I was 19. I was in college now. $125 buy-in, 125 people. I actually chopped it, I believe 3 or maybe 4 ways, so 3 or 4-way chopper first. And so that, I think the run good, the luck started at an early age, but I didn't have a lot of money, growing up, and so couldn't risk the tournament buy-in. So really got, my card acumen from playing cash games, $1, $2, $1, $3 cash games, and just as of recent, in the last couple of years, I've started playing in some bigger buy-in tournaments.
Awesome. Do you prefer limit or no limit?
I like no limit. I have a little experience with limit, but really no limit is my favorite game.
Awesome. Okay, so you have quite a lengthy winning streak here with Club WPT. So first of all, tell us how you won the Venetian package and what did that contain?
That story was pretty wild, actually. So it comes down to my colleague. He asked me for a shift trade very last minute. It was a Saturday night. I'll never forget it. So I had the night off all of a sudden. So we ended up at my wife's parents' house in Connecticut, and the tournament started at 7 p.m. I think about 1,150 entrants, and I'm playing okay. And now dinner's starting at 7:30. So I put the phone down for about 45 minutes. Didn't play during dinner, or my wife's mom would yell at me, of course. Anyway, so her dad and her grandpa were in town, and they asked me to have a scotch with them. So I'm playing. I see there's 45 people left, so I start concentrating a little bit more and ask my wife for her to go grab a phone charger. We plug in my phone, get down to the final 18. I'm in second place. I remember getting pocket kings, knocked a player out. So coming into the final table at 9, I was in first place. I had some run good, continuous story of my life. I had about 3 or 4 big hands, knocked a few players out. Get down to the final table, had 7-4 offsuit. Heads up, me and this other guy, and so he bets, I raise on a 7-6-3 flop, and we get it all in. He's got king high, and it holds, so it pops up. Congratulations, you won a $7,000 package of the Venetian. I was like, wow, just mind blown. So I remember they sent me $2,000 cash from Club WPT. I flew out the very first night, a Wednesday night. Matt Savage and I and Jeremy Clemens and Rod Smith ended up at the Cirque du Soleil EAU, which is French for water show, which was incredible. And the next night next day on Thursday, they bought me into a $5,000 buy-in. Before that, I'd probably $500 buy-in was probably the biggest buy-in I ever played, and had a lot of run good. I think there's 1,175 players. I think my Facebook picture I had about I was 80 players left. I was about 8th in chips, and as poker goes, had a couple coolers. Ended up in 48th place. So good. That was my first time playing a really big tournament. That was really exciting.
That is awesome. Good for you. And you mentioned your run good a couple of times, and a little birdie. And we won't mention names, Brad. Told me there's something called the Josh's Baby Run Good. What is that all about?
Oh, the baby run good is a real thing. I've got a 4-month-old now and a 2.5-year-old, but I think since the second boy has been born, just been on a sun run. It's really been incredible.
That is amazing. So congratulations
Thank you.
on not only those two precious babies, but on the sun run. We all want a sun run, don't we? Before we go on, I skipped introducing you to one other person on my panel, and I'm so sorry, Isaac. Please meet Josh.
Pleased to meet you, Josh.
Nice to see you, Isaac.
Isaac is a part of the Green Visor Gang. If you've not heard of them, I
Yeah.
highly recommend you check them out for sure. Now tell us, I know that on the Club WPT site, you also earned a package involving the Voyager trip. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was incredible trip. The voyage, the WPT voyage, partnered up with Virgin Voyage. It's just a first-rate experience. Ended up playing the main event there. The $5,000 main event, and once again had some good run good. Ended up, I actually trapped Dan Sepiel, WPT champion. I had Ace King suited. 11 players left. It came to me in the small blind. I had 15 big blinds, 650,000 chips. I had Ace King suited. I'm like, how can I get Dan to put all of his chips in the pot? And so I just limped over to him, and he instantly jammed all in. And I've got Ace King suited, so I snap called it. And it turns out, no, we're not going to tell cooler stories, but his Ace 6 improved over my Ace King. But that was a fun run.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yikes. The Voyager trip, I'm going to tell you, I had tons of FOMO. I had regular things in my life getting, in the way of such a great trip as that. So tell us, because we all saw pictures, it looked amazing. Of course, WPT always knows how to do it well. Tell us 3 fun facts that we may not know about that Voyager trip.
3 fun facts. Let's see. Okay. Well, first of all, we had our own private island in the Bahamas at the WPT through a massive party on that day, the very last day. I'll never forget that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was really fun. One thing that people might not know, I'll just mention briefly, it with the little turmoil on the ship. One of the containers reportedly was late coming to the ship, and so we may or may not have not had any tray tables during the entire. And we actually almost didn't have chips or cards. We did manage to get those, so that was interesting. Third fun fact.
I guess Matt could have went and collected seashells by the seashore for chips, but go ahead.
Very last fun fact, a very, very high-ranking member at the World Poker Tour, maybe the highest ranking, won't mention names, but in his Rockstar suite, there may have been a very high buy-in cash game headed by John Robert Belland, which was pretty entertaining. So.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I saw a video of said cabin, and it was amazing, complete with guitars. So it definitely looked like an amazing place to hang out, and I'm sure that cash game was fun for those that got to enjoy it.
Yes.
For sure. All right, now, let's see. Best Bet in Jacksonville, Florida. It happens to be one of my favorite poker rooms. It's only about 5 hours from me.
Wow.
It's not my home poker room, but it's probably my second home poker room. So tell me, I know Jess and Deborah and the whole gang down there, they just do a great job. Tell us about what you won, what package you won to get you to Best Bet, and how you did when you got there.
To Best Bet, I actually didn't win a package. I just made the decision that I would go down and play on my own. I'd heard good things. I'd never played. One of my friends, Tyler Patterson, 2015 main event champion, highly recommended it. He was kind of sad he didn't get to go this year, but so I just traveled down on my own dime for that one. I did play the main event. I didn't realize till now that WPT Best Bet is actually the largest poker room in Florida, which was hard for me to believe.
And it's hard to believe that it is when you're there because it's run so smoothly.
Yeah.
Like you don't even realize there's as many tables as it is because they truly have it down to a science. So kudos to them. So what did you play when you got there?
I played, I played the main event was the only thing I played. I just thankfully only had to fire one bullet. Had a nice run, made it to day 3. I was the first person out on day 3, so finished 18th of 361. So,
Nice.
decent run there. Played some cash games, which are really good cash games down there also, but extremely good event. I'll definitely be back next year.
Awesome. So cool. Um, you brought up the subject of bullets, and I often ask my guests, like, and if you don't want to tell us, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
What is the largest amount of bullets you ever shot into a live tournament, not online, a live tournament?
I'll tell you, for a large buy-in, I'm talking these main events, I've actually only had to fire one bullet on every single one. But the prime, a couple years ago, I believe I ended up firing, I think it was either 4 or 5 bullets to that one. So yeah, not too many compared to some of the stories you've heard, but
Yeah, and it's I'm just a curious person, and you know, everybody has their own point of view on it, and there are certainly good reasons to firing multiple bullets for sure.
yeah,
I'm just not so sure the 12, 15 bullet range is something I would ever get into, but
no,
I, you
yeah.
know what I mean? I'm just curious as to, what different people are doing.
I think
I'm just
one
curious.
thing regarding multiple bullets, what you have to do is just clear your mind. I mean, I've been guilty of it, especially in the prime of, you got a little bit of bad beat. You're like, oh, I got to get back in there. But just truly taking 10, 15 minutes, clearing your mind. If you feel like you got positive EV, jump back in with a fresh mind and ready to get them.
Right
But if
on.
you're doing it just to just get another bullet, I don't know, it might not be the best use of your money, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are definitely reasons to re-enter a tournament for sure. And you have to evaluate that yourself in the moment, for sure. All right. In a recent card player article, Mr. Clemens with the WPT is quoted as saying that you are well studied and you seek advice from a lot of different pros. What and how do you study?
Yeah, good question. There's so many resources out there. You can only choose so money. I've always really liked Jonathan Little's material that he puts out. Have found his books and podcasts and that sort of thing really helpful. Trying to learn GTO, I think it's a good baseline. I mean, there's a lot of argument to not play GTO, but I do think it's important to have that baseline. So I put a lot of time and effort into learning the charts, so to speak. So I can figure out not only how am I playing and play similar to that, but also see when someone is playing suboptimally and then how you can exploit that. So been recently, last few months, really working with trainers as far as optimal ranges, optimal pushing ranges, optimal reshoving ranges. So putting a lot of work in there. Those are the main resources I've used so far.
Do you see yourself hiring a pro at any time in the future?
Potentially, I've always, I play a lot of golf and poker too. I've always kind of been a self-taught person. One of the only golf lesson I ever took was before a state tournament with high school golf, and I shot one of the worst rounds of my life. So I don't know. I'm kind of a self-taught person. I definitely like advice and seeing what kind of leaks I have, how I can improve those. I actually got to team up with Faraz Jaka right before the final table at the free roll man event. That was what a cool guy he is. Great teacher. So
Awesome. He is a
yeah,
cool guy, and he is very giving of his time and knowledge. So hats off to him for
yeah,
sure.
great.
What is the best advice you've gotten that you can pass on to our listeners?
The absolute best advice by far, bar none, is what I got from Rod Smith, one of the original, probably the original Stream Team member over at Club WPT. It was that first night before that very fateful first main event I had at the Venetian, and I was intimidated. I mean, like I said, I've got a $500 buy-in. I'm going to play a $5,000 buy-in against the pros. The thing he told me that really stuck, and that I've tried to tell all fellow Club WPT players, is that we have the game, right? You have to have what he told me specifically. He said, Josh, you have to have the confidence, like you've done well on Club WPT, you can compete with these pros. And I took that to heart. And the thing I think is, the pros are better than us for sure. They've got access to resources and time and training that we don't have, but they might be, 20, 30, 40% better than us. They're not 200 or 300% better than us. So have confidence in your game. If you've had success online or live, you can compete. So I think that's really important.
very wise words. And, you know, I've had people come up to me before, beginner players, and, you know, come to me and say, during a tournament, I had somebody during the WPT ladies tournament last week come to me and say, oh my gosh, I'm sitting at this table and so is there and so is there and they're to my left and this one's to my right. And I just looked at her and said, whoa, 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 take a deep breath.
Right.
They're sitting at the same table that you are.
Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly.
And you know how to play poker, and so do they. And guess what?
Absolutely.
Let the cards fall where they may and see what
Definitely.
happens, right? And
Definitely.
sometimes we get into our own heads and we need to stop it.
I agree.
Isaac, go ahead, buddy.
I love that y'all are saying this because I remember back at the Win Millions, I had the exact same feeling because I hadn't looked at my seating placement until that morning. And when I looked at it, I was like, Kirsten Foxen to my right, Ben Wang to my left. And I remember thinking, oh, this is lovely, right? Uh, okay, I'm starting with under 100K stack. All right. And then, I hit Kenna, right? Kenna James.
Right.
And Ken is a cool customer, right? I'll tell him all this shit like, bro, I got this person to this person, and I think James Colopy's over at the other end of the table. What the fuck am I gonna do? And he was just like, well, you're there, right? He's like, sounds like where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I remember
Exactly.
how dumb and how enlightened I felt at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn,
I'm just going to
you
tell
know.
you, Isaac, I never look ahead of time at who's at my table. I highly recommend it. I'm better off not knowing. Let me just see what my cards are, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? The only reason I did it is because this other cat that was playing at the same time I was playing, he was like, he's one of those types that looks at every table, looks at every scenario and all of that, and he hit me like, bro, I looked at your table, you're in a fucking landmine, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Dick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, but
Uh,
no, but that's very real though. Like, you have to be present.
yeah,
You have to be present.
yeah,
That's dope though.
absolutely.
I appreciate knowing that somebody else is giving such wise words though.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. I think the pros make mistakes, you know. They may not get good cards. You can outplay them. You got to be confident though. They have to know that you're not scared. If they pick up that you're scared, they'll take advantage of that. So, you know, you're there for a reason, right? You're ready to compete, and we can all compete with them on any given day.
Hell yeah! How is it when you
Feel that.
walk in the room, act like you own it?
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's in your mind but you, right? So, um, you know what? And guess what? If you lose that day, you lose that day. But you guess
Yep.
what? You may win that day. So don't
That's
hold
true.
yourself back. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, and don't forget, most of these recreational players don't know GTO, and the professionals do. So, like, you've still got as much chance to play whoever's at the table, no matter what bigger name they are just playing this. They're just playing their cards. They're reading you. You have the confidence to go and do it no matter who's on that table. You play your cards, you play your game your way.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something that you said that really resonated with me, Josh. And you talk about that upper, 1 to 5% people in the player pool that have access to resources. And, I think back to my early cash days, I was just by myself and it was just me against the world, I felt like. But when I crossed paths with the Club WPT community, the Spaces community, and other parts of the off the felt with players that I was playing with, I felt that that is a resource in itself. And it was something that part of my early on in my poker career, I wish that I had identified that. And I think that to your point, I think there's lots of really, really great players and the resources sometimes are friends. If you're sharing hand histories with somebody, if you're swapping action with people, if somebody's buying action, if you're selling action, you're a resource, they're a resource in all of those different various ways. If somebody's giving you off the felt advice as a friend that could help you on the felt, there's so many other things that I think that we forget about as maybe not the top 1 to 5% that we do have the resources. You just got to use them. And it took me too long to figure that out.
Great advice. Great advice. All right, let's dive deep, shall we? Let's dive deep into the last 2 weeks. But before we do, we got to figure out how you got to those last 2 weeks. So, Josh, please tell our audience how you got the opportunity to participate in the Golden Passport $5 million free roll invitational.
Yeah, so naturally, I luck boxed my way. I got super lucky. I just happened to see Tony Dunst post a sports pick'em one Sunday, handicapping all the NFL games or 11 games. I thought I did okay. I looked at 8 wins, 3 losses. I didn't think that was great. I looked through all the 150 entrants, and there was only one other person and myself that had 3 losses. It was Tyler Patterson and I. We both got 3 losses. I figured we'd have to like coin flip or something, and we both ended up getting a seat. So yeah, it wasn't any skill at all. It was complete randomly luck. But yeah, it was cool, really cool opportunity.
That's awesome. Good for you. And guess what? You had to make the pick, so it wasn't all luck. Maybe it was luck that you saw his post, right? Because you did have to make the picks. Okay, so you get to Vegas and you're going to play the free roll. The morning of, what's your preparation look like?
Yeah, so Brad Nesser and I, Brawley 84, we're part of a poker discussion group, and we constantly talk about process. One of the most important things for me that I attribute my early success to is the mental preparation and the process. And one of the reasons I think maybe some Club WPT members who have not had live success when they're crushing online, why does that not translate to live success? And I think it has to do with preparation around a live tournament series. So what does it mean? How are you going to be successful for 2 or 3 days in a row to play at an elite level, 9 or 10 hours into a long day? How are you going to be just as sharp or more sharp than hour 1? So I've got every hour planned out. So, I'd take some caffeine and think about my breaks and meals, and there's a lot to it. And we can talk a lot about it, but really understanding, okay, after a 10 or 11 hour day, how are you going to get 7-8 hours of sleep and make sure you're fresh and coming back the next day? So I just do a lot of work on the front end and realize each one of these tournament series I go to, how much more I actually need to do. And I think that's something that the pros are elite at is having the systems in place that when they show up to play, they're sharp, they're mentally acute, they're confident, through the entire day. And I take that pretty seriously.
And their needs are met. They have protein with them. They have even what drinks they want with them, and they're staying hydrated, right? And so
absolutely,
they definitely have a system, what I call their system, so to speak, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So tell us, when you got to your table, were there any familiar faces?
Yeah, we, you never want to see any faces that you recognize at a poker table, like we were talking about earlier. But 2 to my left was Joey Ingram, which a very accomplished player, especially PLO, and so that was interesting. There was another amateur I recognized. We had one empty seat that was blinding off, but pretty decently tough table, I thought, on that very first table.
Well, we love Joey here in the spaces. As a matter of fact, I credit him for getting me hooked up with the original person that I tried to help build his space. So love me some Joey. And of course, Donna used to be one of his moderators. So we definitely love some Joey Ingram here in our space. Were there any memorable hands during the free roll that, that kind of stick out to you even till today?
Yeah, there's several. The most notable for me, we just sat down to the final 2 tables with 18 players. I got Ellie Lesra, 2 to my right, a pro, and a couple other really solid players. Very first hand, I'm in the cutoff. I looked down at pocket aces. I was like, okay, here we go. So I'm in bet, big blind calls, flop was 9-5-3, 2 clubs. I see bet probably 35% pot. He goes all in for about 700,000 chips, and I snap call. He's got ace 9 off and a hold, so that was a great start.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you if you had the ace of clubs.
I did not. No, I don't think so.
Were there any other hands you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I'll tell one. It was a big spot. I made a big fold. Now we're down to about 14 left, and I've got King Queen of Hearts on the button. Cutoff, who was the day one chip leader. Now he goes all in for about, it was 1 million in chips, but it was about 11 big blinds. I've got about probably 35 big blinds total. I kind of think about it on the button. I feel like it was pretty close. You could make
Right.
an argument for any three of the choices, right? I liked it to call. And then the small blind instantly jams all in. I'm like, oh man, that's tough. So I'm thinking he's got a lot of ace king, big pairs, aces, kings, queens. I thought the absolute weakest hand you might have is like jacks. Anyway, so I thought about it for a while. I think I need to call about another 1.5 million for a 5 million chip pot. Pot odds was probably a call, but if I called and lost, and I really hate three-way all ends for what it's worth, I would have been down to less than 1 million chips, maybe like 10 big blinds or so. And I thought I'd be in a troublesome spot to even make the final table, which was one of my goals. So I made kind of a tight fold, and you never want to be results oriented,
Sure.
but just so happened the all-in guy was ace 10 of clubs, and my friend, who's now my friend in the small blind, he had pocket jacks. Board was queen high, turned the fourth heart, and I would have scooped the whole pot to come up to 8 or 9 million, probably close to first going to the final table. But you can't be results oriented. I thought in the moment it was a somewhat tight fold, but I think I'd make the same play again. So
Right on, right on. And Donna's laughing because that hand involved pocket jacks, which are my nemesis.
Yeah,
I've
sorry.
either
I just had to laugh.
I either won with them or got beat by them in very big spots in my poker life. So go ahead, Brad.
wow.
So what I want to say is really special to me, Josh. Me as a streamer, like you see, like I get knocked out of tournaments, and I get so excited when someone makes the final table on my stream on a $1,000 guarantee prize pool. $150 up top. To see you playing for $1 million in the live at the WPT at the win, I can't tell you how special it was for me as a friend of yours, somebody part of this community. And I can tell you, there's a lot of people in here in the chat that were even right there on the rail with us. Shout out to John, who drove out specifically for it.
Yeah.
And
Hey, John.
really special for a lot of us. And I just want to say, man, love you, bro. And big fucking ups to you, dude. You're an absolute legend, bro.
Thanks, Brad. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. I couldn't be there without you guys. All the support you guys give me, all the chatting we do on strategy, and just the. I just want to give a shout out to you, Brad. The really, been one of the most important people in my poker journey about all the community you offer in this very small family that we've got, this poker community. And it was special to have you guys there, all the stream team family on the rail. Everyone from Club WPT representing. Got to give a special shout out to two people that kind of went above and beyond. Meta John McLaughlin made the drive out from California,
Hey,
and my best
Meta.
man, yeah, awesome. Another streamer. One of my buddies, Matt, best man at my wedding, flew up from Arkansas, was there to rail me too. So it was just special to have such a great group there, getting loud and rowdy. Maybe the stream didn't translate there, but it was wild in person. It was great to have everyone there, and look forward to supporting anyone else who makes a deep run. Pretty special.
It was indeed special. And I was playing the ladies' event, and every time the rail was screaming, I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I was trying to keep up with it. And I was way on the other side of the room. So I couldn't even just like run over to be on the rail for a little bit and then go back to playing because I was way on the other side of the room. But it was exciting just from afar, knowing that you were
Yeah.
so close. It was two tables, and then you got, well, it was three tables, then it was two tables. And it was so exciting to even follow from afar and just look on social media to see what was going on for sure. And Brad was so excited. Every time I saw him, he was giving me updates, which was so cool.
Sherry, speaking of the women's rail, I made it over for the final table. You've got experience with the Women's Poker Association, right?
I do. I do. I've
Yeah.
been an advocate with them for several years, and try to promote women in poker and try to encourage them and help them and provide information for them. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you for all you do in that space. Speaking of that, I got to meet AJ Rudolph at the women's final table. That was really neat to meet her and get to talk with her too.
And she's amazing. We love AJ. I've spent
Yeah,
a lot of time with her, and she's a crusher, and she's a teacher, and another brilliant mind in the world of poker. And
awesome.
she definitely is a crusher.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That women's final table was excellent. I don't know how that was a bad beat there. I don't know how that wasn't at least streamed. But man, what a final table that was.
It was the gal that won it was actually at my two final tables um, during that tournament, and she was let me tell you, she was a crusher,
Yeah,
and she had a little bit of luck on her side as well, and she was building that stack, and there were hours that people were just looking like, is she ever going to lose? Like she
yeah,
was killing it, and fun to watch for sure.
yeah.
But
That was
yeah,
exciting.
she did a great job, and the final table was full of crushers. And again, it was disappointing it wasn't live streamed, but it is what it is. We
Sure.
just onward ho with the next tournament. So go ahead, Brad.
I just posted a picture of the live rail, the final table for Josh. It's down in the chat. But we probably had 20 or 30 people there easy. They had to spill over down to the rail, down below to the floor, because there wasn't enough space on the rail. It was epic.
I love
I
it.
just had to put that picture in there.
I love it.
Hey, Sherry, did you hear the story about the day I met you? The
Oh,
24 hours surrounding that the meetup
you
game that
got
you
to hear
hosted, the
this
Spaces
story.
meetup
All
game.
right, go ahead
It's
and
a good
share
story.
the story about coming to my meetup game.
So it's pretty quick, but it was right in the middle of a long day. But so that night before, our buddy Derek Vest, Infinite, the ClubWPT Dream Team, he's a longtime crusher. He plays a lot of cash, especially at the Bellagio. I never played at the Bellagio, and I said,
So,
"Hey, Derek, you mind taking us?"
let me
Yeah, go
let me
ahead. Go
pause
ahead.
the story real quick because there's a pre-story. So real
Yeah,
quick,
go ahead.
the night before this or 2 nights before this, Sherry and like five other, or there was like six other stream team players that decided to go play um
At South Point.
the
South
South
Point.
Point Bellagio. Okay, check this out, Josh. I didn't tell you this part of the story. This is like the night before. They go and play South Point. There's like 8 of them there that we know. They like all final table of the event. It's like Pacer Cop, Derek,
Don.
Infinite, who you're talking about. Sherry was there. There was like 4 or 5 other them. So she had ran into a bunch. Meta John was there.
Right.
So they all like final table of this event, like the night, like a night or
And
two
I had
before
been
this.
playing with them in that tournament for hours before we
Right,
figured out that that they were part of the stream team, and that I knew
right.
Brad, and I knew that they were with you guys and all that stuff. So it was fun.
That's
So I had to
awesome.
just tell that pre-story because you said Derek. She actually met Derek that night
Yep.
I like
before.
it. So we were out doing a little celebrating that night, and I talked to Derek, who goes to Bellagio quite often, playing big time cash games. I said, "Hey, I've never been to Bellagio. You mind if you show me around?" And so he goes, "Yeah, let's go. I know all the guys over there." So we sit down, 9 of us from the Club WPT and the stream team. We have our own private table that Derek managed to get us. I think we were playing 1-3 cash game, just our 9 friends. It was so cool. So we play for a bunch of hours, and we get done. There were a lot of all-ins with very marginal hands. It was a fun game, and we sit down for breakfast about 7:30 in the morning. And Brad goes, "Hey, well, there's a meetup game, a Spaces meetup game. Do you want to go over there?" So, sure, why not? So we roll over there. I don't even remember, probably 9 or 10 in the morning at this point. Um, Play for several hours. A great time. Probably lost some money if we're being honest. And so we finish up there, and I get back to my hotel around 3 or 4 now. And I said, okay, I'm gonna lay down for 30 minutes because we got the players' party. I wake up at 12:30 in the morning, like, oh man, I completely missed the party. So, but it was well worth it. It was a great night.
It was a great night. And it was, it's always nice to meet new people, and people that, we have something in common with. And of course, to sit down and play poker with, it's always a fun time. So
Yeah,
I was so
absolutely.
happy you came with Brad, and I
Yeah,
got to meet you for sure. Now, we kind of got to go back to this WPT stuff over here
yeah,
at the Win, because, there's one thing we haven't touched on yet. I mean, there's several, but the one thing that, comes to mind when we think of Josh at the WPT is that lucky pull of an envelope. Can you tell my audience what that was, sir?
Yeah, so I got super lucky. So as I'm sure you're aware, the $5 million free roll, there was a mystery bounty component starting at about 297 left of the 1,460 entrants that showed up. From 297 down to the final table. Basically, once you knocked a player out, then you'd get to go to the drum and draw an envelope between, I believe, $500 and $100,000. So 288 envelopes, two $100,000 envelopes. I only had one bounty that first night. I waited till the very end, play had concluded. I think there were 60 left going into day two. And the floor manager there, he said, well, you might as well go ahead and take out a big one. I don't want all these big numbers going into day two. And of course, I got Brad there and Jeremy there railing me, yelling. And my buddy Josh Marin had just got knocked out of the tournament and then pulled a $10,400 seat into the main event. And I was completely joking with him. I said, so Josh, what's the strategy? Like, how do you pull a good envelope? And he said, you just got to go in smooth and just pick the one that feels right. I was like, all right. So I just put my hand in, completely joking. Of course, there's no strategy. Go in real smooth, open it up. It was on video. $100,000 bounty I pulled.
Yeah,
Just luck box it.
just $100,000
Just
bounty.
100,000.
Poor Josh. You
Insane.
couldn't pick $1 million
Yeah, life's
one because
tough.
there wasn't one.
I know there wasn't one.
All right. What do you think about the gentleman that pulled out of the suitcase and got a $0 bounty? What do you think of that?
For what it's worth, he knocked me out. So the fact he got $0, I wasn't too upset with that,
Now that's funny. I didn't know that he knocked you out. Oh, that's
Yeah,
just so funny, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So you were kind of cheering inside for the guy.
Yeah, I wasn't too upset when I heard that.
All right, Miss Donna, do you have some questions for Josh?
I do. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Donna.
How do you tilt, and how do you cope with tilt?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
Because it's a common thing between poker players.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot tilt on a poker table. To me, poker's poker. You play your cards, whatever. Get me in a Twitch chat or a YouTube chat, and I am proper tilted.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said earlier, one of the reasons I think I've had a lot of run good early on is the process, and part of this is tilt. Not only, and we'll talk about negative tilt. I got a strategy I think can be helpful to a lot of people. There's positive tilt too, right? You're going on a good run of cards. You start getting opening up a little bit more. You go a little crazy, and you lose a big pot. So you got to be careful there too. But specifically with negative tilt, I like, we're all going to have our aces cracked. That's just how the poker game goes. I like something Negreanu does, and I really implement this at the table. So it's kind of a 4-step process. All right, my aces just get cracked, but look, guess what? I still got 30 big blinds. I'm still in the tournament. So how am I going to make sure my mind is right away so I can be most effective? So 4 steps. First of all, it's you feel, what am I feeling physically, right? Do I have a little crick in my back, my knees a little tight, and you just acknowledge that, right? Then what is it you're feeling emotionally, right? All right, I'm feeling a little bit upset, I'm feeling angsty, I've got the adrenaline rushing, just sitting there to acknowledge it. And then is just the third step is just a little breathing exercise. So breathe in, real four count, four breaths in, hold it for 4 seconds, and breathe it out for 4 seconds. That's it. And then the last and fourth and final step is to say that, all right, now what do I want to do? Where do I want to rechannel my mental state? What are my goals? How am I going to attack this? And just get back into it. And if you can do that within 1 or 2 hands, I think that's really important, just to have a process, because we're all going to tilt, but trying to avoid that, I think is super important.
Great advice.
Yeah, definitely, of course. I mean, I've had people come to me and they've been tilting, and I went, park it. Forget about it. Put it in the back of your brain. Take time out. Walk it out. Breathe. Come back. Get your headspace right, and carry on. You've still got chips. You've still got a chance.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you what's tilting, y'all.
Yes.
Playing the final stage of the GG game, and right when you're about to crack somebody with an ace king, your phone dies.
Oh no! Oh.
But it's all right though. It's all right though. The next hand I got into first, and right now I'm in second. But there's still like 16 minutes left in late reg, and then the real battle begins. But let's see
Nice,
how it goes.
man.
Well,
Right?
good luck,
Run it out.
Isaac. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, lately I've been late regging to these things. Before I would try to start from the beginning, but I find like there's just too many donks that first
Yep.
hour. So now I'm like, I'm comfortable in the short stack at this point. Like, I'm willing to give it a shot and try to chip up from there rather than get an early lead and have to like suffer the donkage.
Good for
It's
you.
crazy.
All right, Brad, you have some questions for Josh.
Yeah, there is one thing we didn't talk about, and it's something I can personally relate to. Um, it's tough. Tournament poker is tough as it is, but with wife and young kids, it's super, super tough. And how does your wife, like handle that? And how, I mean, obviously, I know she's supportive because I see you when I do, but you know, that's just something that's unique to if you got married and young kids, especially, it's tough, man. It's school year, and you have to leave for these tournament stops. So
Yeah,
how does that work for your
yeah.
wife, and how does that work?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's important. It's something I'm still working to optimize, and it's tough. I mean, it's sacrifices, right? Like without my wife and our family, our support system, I wouldn't be able to play any of these events. A lot of the biggest crushers, for the most part, are going to be 20 somethings with no wife, no kids, no responsibilities. So for us non-traditional players, you gotta, have a support system. And it's all about sacrifices. For me specifically, this is kind of a dream of mine, and it's something really exciting for me that I'm embarking on. And she gets it, and so we do make sacrifices, and think we got a family support and this whole thing, but it's not easy. I mean, I almost didn't go to the championship this year, to be honest, and so it's tough. It
I would have,
really, really is
I'd have to imagine bringing $100,000 check home probably helps with that
tough.
situation, though, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you, when I drew that bounty, it was about 2 a.m. and I called her. I said, I wouldn't normally call you at 2 a.m., but I just won $100,000. And
I
so,
love it.
and then in the morning, it was really cute. We had my 2.5-year-old on the phone, and my wife was completely joking, but she was like, "We got your college fund," to my 2-year-old, and she said, "Francis, do you want to go to Harvard?" And he said, "Yeah, Harvard." Like he doesn't even know what that is, of course, but it was hilarious. It
That
was
is
cute.
funny. So, what is let's ask you, what is the first thing you're going to buy or do with your 100,000?
Yeah, good question. I'm big into personal finance and investing. I just think that honestly, it's going straight into the college fund. It's all going into the 529. I'm gonna pay some bills and maybe a small purchase, gift for the wife, but for the most part, it's gonna go straight into investment because with power compound interest, you put 100,000 in now, it'll be 350K by the time they're in college,
Absolutely.
ready to go. So that's the plan.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, I just want to say a big shout out to all the partners out there that are supportive of their other halves playing poker.
It's huge.
It is so difficult having a family
Yeah.
and juggling. Brad, I met your wife. She's amazing.
Oh my gosh,
I love her to
incredible.
bits.
She's a sweetheart. You guys are lucky to have
Love her to
supportive
bits.
wives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got to meet poker wifey Virginia. We had to sit down, had a nice dinner. Man, you got an awesome other half, Brad.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was very, very grateful that she was able to come out and meet a bunch of you guys. It was very special to me. She got to meet Sherry and Donna, a bunch of the stream team fam, and it was awesome to me. For real, it was a very special trip to me. This whole trip, it always isn't this December one, but this one was definitely special for me.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, Isaac.
Actually, the only thing I was gonna say is that you said he's into personal finance. I'm like, do you know what annuities are, and have you studied those?
Yeah, I know annuities. I'm pretty boring. I like equities. Just stock market, in my opinion, is the best investment of all times. Between 1975 and 2015, 11.8% per year. Index funds, you put it in, set it, forget it. Spend a couple hours a year on it. I'm trying to look into real estate a little bit too, but yeah, I do know about annuities. They're a little bit more complex.
They are, but a friend of mine, he's in that field, and I've noticed like There's a lot of benefits, but you are right though. 11.5% over that time period, like they always say, right? Buy right and sit tight.
Yeah,
So, but yo, cheers, man. You know that's a hell of a problem to have, right? What am I gonna do with this money?
not bad.
That's fantastic, fantastic.
I love that. What am I going to do with this money? A great problem to have. Well,
Exciting.
it's very exciting. And, for anybody that knows you, when you pull that envelope, I mean, and probably people that didn't know you to see the video, everybody's cheering for you, right? It's
Yeah,
so
that was
exciting because we
awesome.
all wish it was us as well, right?
Yeah,
And so,
yeah, there's that reciprocity there. But it was so great to have the support there. I was literally having a chant as I'm pulling the envelope, like what happened? But my colleague, she says that I'm the luckiest person she's ever met, and I think that's true. Like I'm just incredibly fortunate, So I can't say anything else.
hey, and God bless you that you are. All right, I like to do a little thing called rapid fire. Are you familiar with the concept?
I know I'm familiar with the concept, sure.
Awesome. All right. Dishes or cook?
Cook,
Text or phone call?
text,
Beach or mountains?
mountains,
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Swedish fish,
The Godfather or Star Wars?
The Godfather.
Elf or what's the movie with the my mind just went blank with the leg lamp? I can't,
Elf.
Elf, or what is the name of that movie with the leg lamp
Yeah, I know what you're talking
with
about.
the
Lightyear.
I
red
can't say
beaver
the name.
gun? Oh my God.
I know what you're saying.
Dion.
But he picked Elf anyway.
Elf.
I've never seen the movie Elf, and Fats, who hangs out with us here in Spaces, is bound and determined to get me to watch that movie.
Oh yeah, we'll watch it. It's a good one.
I don't like the actor in the movie, so I don't
You don't like Will Ferrell?
know. No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Sorry to
But
say.
he's the songbird of our generation, though.
Yeah,
You're
I
killing me,
liked him on
Sherry. You're
Saturday
killing me.
Night Live, but not in movies. He just is not my cup of tea.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up watching Bad Santa on way back.
Wait, were you on the Triple X station? What did you just say?
I said I ended up watching Bad Santa on the way back on the
Station
plane.
Yeah.
on
So
the Triple X
if you
station.
know the
This
story,
joke.
no, if you know the story of Bad Santa, then you know why I watched it.
Well, I will take your word for it. If anybody has any questions or comments for Josh, now's the time to press that request button in the bottom left corner. And don't miss your chance to come on up and ask Josh any questions or make any comments. Meta John, I see you there. You're welcome. ASG, any of you, come on up and ask a question or give a comment. We would love it. Donna, do you have any other questions or comments?
I do. What's next for you now, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for
What
asking. First
will you be playing live or online or?
first thing I'm gonna do is take a little break. I've actually got a trip coming up in about a week, kind of non-poker related trip for work. Where I'm traveling is my profession, and we're going through Africa for about 12 days, so that'll be pretty fun. But after that, in the new year, my goal, I want to commit to playing 5 World Poker Tour main events. My ultimate goal, I want to become a World Poker Tour main event champion. So really going to push for that. Yeah, play some cash and study, get back in there. I definitely got some stuff I want to look into getting better at. So study and some cash, and so you'll see me around the WPT. I'll just say, anyone that's interested, I'd love to talk strategy and increase my poker community. And so if anyone sees me or messages me, hit me up. I'm happy to talk strategy and talk about the game that we all love.
Well, thank you for that. Great question, Donna. And let me just interrupt your questioning for a minute, Donna. When you said you're going for your profession on a little bit of a tour of Africa, are you actually going to treat patients or are you just going on a fact finding mission?
It's kind of somewhere in between. This is definitely not Doctors Without Borders or anything. It's actually what's called a private jet trip. So we got It's through TCS Travel and Four Seasons. They've got basically these people pay to go on this trip, and they took a 757 jet. They took all 187 seats out, and they put 50 leather seats. We got 7 staff members: concierge, chef, pilot, trip planner. But they want a doctor on the trip. It just so happens I'm an emergency room doctor, so in case any emergencies come up, I'm there ready to get into
Nice.
action. I did one in 2020, and several emergencies actually came up. I'll just tell you a quick story. So the very first day we got to Japan, and we're watching the geisha dancers up on stage. And like I said, I grew up very low or middle class, right? So I'd never been to a Four Seasons hotel, but the very first night we get to the Four Seasons hotel, they said, "All right, here's a kimono," which is basically like a toga, right? Put this on. All the guests will have it on, and so we put it on. It's very night one on this 23-day trip around the world, and we're there and watching the geisha. We were gonna have. I'm sure you had Kobe beef or heard of it. There's something even. Yeah, I've never had it, but they there's something called Nagoya chicken, a region of Japan, even more rare. That's what we're supposedly gonna have for dinner this night. Anyways, the very first night, I'm looking over, and one of our guests collapses and falls and hits his head, and so I run over to him and I said, "Hey, Mike." And I'm changing the name for
Sure.
anyway, so I said, "Hey, Mike," I shake him, and there's no response at all. He's just sitting there unresponsive. I shake him again. He wakes up. He says, "Josh, what happened?" I said, "I don't know. You tell me," right? So, anyways, I got to see the Japanese emergency room. Thankful to say he's fine. He's fine with me telling the story. But anyways, it was night one, and I'm in a toga. I run over to this guy, and it was a crazy trip. But so I'm going on the second one of those coming up in the next few weeks. So that'll be exciting.
Sounds like an amazing opportunity for sure. I'm going to go ahead and let Isaac ask or make his comment, and we'll move on to Meta John. Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, just I was about to ask about the whole studying thing and everything, and you mentioned it right before I even asked. So I followed you. Definitely always trying to improve my game and be around better minds. So yeah, I'm interested. Let me know.
Yeah, man, love to hit it up.
Oh, Matt, I'm going to ask you to wait for a minute. ASG, come on, you were first, buddy. Go ahead, ASG. Welcome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so question I always like to ask, what's the story behind Salem Witcham Dead?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I was trying to come up with a name when I started on ClubWPT a couple years ago. So I work in Salem, Massachusetts, and that's where the Salem witch trials started. So we get about 1 million visitors every October around the Halloween time. And EMD, so I'm an emergency medicine is my specialty. EMD, emergency medicine doctor. So Salem Witch, EMD is just something I came up with on the fly. Most people would just call me Salem Witch. So
I love it. Thank you for that question. Go ahead, ASG, if you had something else.
No,
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Meta John, how are you, bud?
Doing well. Thanks for giving me a chance here to speak up and just
hey, buddy.
what's up, guys?
Absolutely. Go ahead, buddy.
What's up,
But
buddy?
yeah, it was an amazing story. I mean, there's so many here. You touched on the South Point when we were playing together forever, and everybody. I think we started saying something about Brad Braulio, and you're like, who? And all of a sudden, we knew each
Yeah,
other,
it was so
right?
funny.
So
We were like
it
been
was, and
playing with each other for hours, and we're really kind of in the same circle.
yeah, and I just didn't have the stamina those guys did because I was with them till about 9 in the morning, and I knew they were going to that meetup game, and I had to sleep at least for 3 hours. But I did make the players party. But one of the things I just want to say, and thanks Salem. Salem, when I met him a few years ago, he's been probably the most who's given me the most advice that's helped improve my game. And every time I talk to him, I'm always going to learn something. So I wanted to thank you for that. And even tonight, I'd never heard, even though you said you kind of spun it from Daniel Negreanu, but the tilt thing, because I do notice that I don't think I've ever seen you tilt. I've watched you play. I played at the same table with you. I've never seen you tilt. So like I said, I really appreciate how you offer up information and you're willing to talk. And again, thanks for that information tonight.
Yeah, man.
And well, one last thing too. The first thing you did with your 100,000 is you bought us dinner, man. I want to thank you for that too, because he bought his real dinner. So don't forget about that, man.
Thank you very much for that.
I'm still full from that. So,
That was an
That's
awesome,
awesome.
awesome dinner.
but
Great group we had. I think about 16 of us.
yep. So again, thanks for having him on, and always love hearing Salem talk poker.
Well, thank you for coming up and your kind words for sure. I appreciate you and glad you joined us, Meta.
Definitely.
Thank you.
For sure, man. Meta John, these guys are brothers to me, for sure. Love these guys, both of them.
Right on. Brad, do you have any more questions do you like to bring up or topics?
One thing just to kind of lean into what Meta John is saying, I honestly, same thing, Salem, you're an awesome human being. You're a great player. You're a good friend. And, we're in a couple circles together and, I'm very fortunate for all your insight and your knowledge because you are an absolute beast on the felt. You're incredibly sharp and honestly, man, like I lean on you for a lot of like poker advice and even as a friend, man, really appreciate you. So and big ups to you on your awesome run for the whole year, man. You're a legend, bro.
Likewise, man. I appreciate all your support and I respect the hell out of your game. I learn something from you all the time too. I'm excited to see what we're going to spin up in the coming time.
I love it. I always enjoy reading the tweets and finding out the details. It's always fun to watch you guys and your successes. Donna, you have any more questions or comments, love?
I do.
Go ahead, honey.
Josh, can you take pictures when you're over where you're going, please?
Yeah,
'Cause I
definitely.
just,
I'll take a few pictures and post them for sure.
yes, please, because I just love that side of the world. I've never
Yeah,
been. I want to go,
yeah,
but and just have a safe trip and have a wonderful Christmas.
for sure. Likewise.
And it was lovely meeting you too.
Likewise.
And just have fun and go crush it.
Yeah, you do the same. This is thanks for having me here. This is really great talking poker with you guys and Sherry. Look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Absolutely. And I've got a hand up. ASG, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to also say that Josh's earlier story reminds me about how like the good players always say they're running lucky, and then the lucky players always say they're playing well.
I love it. I love it. I think we could all relate to that statement, can't we? Well, Josh, it was a pleasure. We look forward to hearing more of your successes as well as Brad's, Meta John's, anyone in my audience. Everybody in here plays poker. ASG, Software Brian, Todd, Larry, RBD, Kush, Jeff, ACP. Look forward to hearing those success stories for 2025, you guys. Let's all crush it on the felt. Isaac, Donna, Brad, even myself. It's time we all crush it. And Josh, we really love your success story. We love that you have the baby run good and you've set up your kids' college fund on your bounty that you won, which is awesome. So it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better, and you are always welcome to stop by anytime, my friend.
Awesome, Sherry. Thank you for having me. Just a quick shout out to Mojo, Pacer Cop, and Piboathon, and Medi, who I see out there also, Stream Team family. You guys always represent. Sherry, thanks for having me. It's really incredible. I'm really lucky to meet you last year, and really thank you for hosting this and really everything you do for the poker community. It's really special. I look forward for next opportunity to get to interact with you.
Well, thank you for those kind words and shouting out those folks down in the audience that are new to me. So welcome, folks. Glad you joined us tonight. Brad, appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Ditto what Salem just said. I really appreciate all that you do. You do a lot for the poker community, for women in poker, for the spaces community. You're amazing, and I'm really, really fortunate to be friends with you. So, big shout out to all the Stream Team fam who showed up here to listen in. Stream Team fam strong, and I don't know. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Josh, you deserve this platform
Absolutely.
and the spotlight. So thank you for doing this, Sherry.
Absolutely. And thank you for the kind words. And Isaac, as always, I appreciate you. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Green Visor Gang, please look it up. Click on Isaac's profile picture and follow him and check out his Green Visor Gang. They're doing a lot of great stuff in the poker community and the NFT community. So check them out as well. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you. You already know, Sherry. Love you.
I know. Love you too, bud. All right. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, but I also want to say to everyone, if you're having a hard time during the holiday season, it's not unusual. Reach out to me, reach out to anyone in this space, and we'll be happy to chat with you and make time for you. So, the holidays are hard, and that's not a problem. We're here to help you. We There's a lot of folks in the community that you can reach out to for that help, whether it be just a conversation, or I posted on my Facebook page I think this morning or last night. If you need somewhere to go on Christmas Day, reach out to me and come on over to my house. So, um, you know,
I'm catching the plane back, Sherry.
I
I'd
know
rather be
you
at
are.
yours than mine.
I know you are. But I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and let you know that we are here for you if you need us. And you know what? Herbert came up, and I'm going to give you a chance to speak, Herbert, before I sign off. Go ahead.
So, hi, my screen name is Air Herb, and I think I'm probably the oldest Club WPT member. Just wanted to wish Josh congratulations on his great play. I just want to know, how many crane kicks did my friend Brad do for you?
Air Herb, thanks for stopping by. You're a crusher, absolute legend. Yeah, Brad did a real life crane kick for me on stage on my rail. I was internally grateful for that. It was awesome.
The cameraman even caught it. There actually might be footage of it. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. I think Matt Kiefer caught it, so I'm gonna reach out to him.
When
Yeah,
you picked that 100,000 bounty, I mean, I even did a crane kick.
that's awesome.
Congratulations again. Hi, Brad. Good speaking to
Thanks,
you.
Eric.
What's up, Eric? What's up, buddy?
Nope, just enjoying the conversation, playing poker, listening to this. I'm going to sign off now.
Good,
Thank you for
good to hear from
stopping
you.
by.
Good to see you, Herb.
Absolute legend in our squad, in our Club
Absolutely.
WPT family.
I love that so much. Thanks for stopping by, Herb. I appreciate it for sure. And I know the guys do too. Again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Reach out if you need me or anyone in here. We'll be happy to help you. Uh, you know, Reach out. You're not
Yeah.
alone, folks. You're not alone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. This is Josh so much. Yeah, likewise. Reach out to me if you guys need a friend to talk to, or if you want to talk poker strategy, or just need someone to talk to. I'm here too.
Amen. So, good night, everybody, and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you all.
Take care, guys.
Merry Christmas.